everywhere this week. Promoted offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer to head coach. That happened Friday. He signs a 4-year deal. That happens to be the same length of time that is left on the contract of Dak Prescott. And with their fates intertwined, Dak had this to say about his future with Schottenheimer. Quote, I wanted to show him, hey, I'm going to be here with you and for you. Not only what? He signs for 4 years. I got 4 years left on my contract. He's tied directly to my future. So let's go be the best that we can in these 4 years. There's been so much conversation about this hiring that has absolutely nothing to do with Brian Schottenheimer. The overwhelming wave of negative reaction has been aimed, and I think understandably so, at the ownership and at the decision to do it. It is not aimed at Schottenheimer, who has been in the game quite literally his entire life. And I think everywhere he goes, the players he coaches like him. You were one of those players. Tell us about Brian Schottenheimer, the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I love Schotty. The one thing about Schotty, he's a no-nonsense type of guy. He's going to shoot it to you straight. He's going to tell you like it is. And as far as just schematics, I think when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, a couple things was apparent. Number one, they needed a receiver, obviously, CeeDee Lamb. Number two, they had no running game. Okay,
none.
When Schotty was with me with New York with the Jets, we ran the ball. We were the best team in the league running the ball. When he was with the OC in Seattle at one point, they ran the ball. That's going to be one thing they're going to do with the Dallas Cowboys. They need to run the football. When the Dallas Cowboys were kind of in their heyday, you know, when they were really good, what did they have? They had one of the best offensive lines, maybe the best, and they were able to run the football. I think that's what Brian Schottenheimer is going to do. He's going to get back to that, run the football, complimentary, no-nonsense type of guy.
Can I just point out just how bad the Cowboys' running game was this past year? Are you aware of this statistic?
Tell us, Captain
Philadelphia
Obvious.
Eagles on Sunday in the NFC Championship game rushed for 7 touchdowns in that game.
Here we go.
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys this season rushed for 6. Wow. The Eagles had more rushing touchdowns in that game than the Cowboys had all season long. So for Brian Schottenheimer, he's got a good quarterback. Assuming Dak is healthy, he's got a very good quarterback. They have an outstanding receiver in CeeDee Lamb. You can figure out the rest of it if you can run the football. That has to be job 1, 2, and 3.
So it's two important things when I look at Dallas, and I start on the offensive side of the ball because Schotty is an offensive guy. You have to be able to give Jalen Hurts some kind of help. And what's
Dak Prescott?
Excuse me, that's what I meant. Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
What's better than having a run game, right? Now, also, I would say when it comes to Jerry Jones, you have to give your head coach and your play caller the personnel too, right? Because I'm not just going to put it on Schotty, because we know he wants to call the run. He wants that offense to be balanced. But at the same time, Jerry Jones, you have to be able to give him the personnel to be able to rush the football.
I understand why you said Jalen Hurts. You got Jalen Hurts on the brain.
Exactly.
Literally. Literally. But with the Cowboys running the football, maybe they can sign Sean Green this offseason to run behind their offensive line. Look, has there ever been a running back in one draft that is more perfect a fit?
Who's perfect?
Ashton Genty is for the Dallas Cowboys at number 12. Like, we're going to wait for this to happen. Like, to me, it is so logical for them to go there because they have to do something at that spot to upgrade that position, to basically do something to change that stat that you had, and to reverse the fortunes and to play to Schotty's strengths and to get the ground game back in Dallas.
So here's the second part of that, right? I talked about running the football offensively.
Stopping the run.
You got to stop the run as well.
Right.
When you look at your division, the Eagles were second in the league in rushing, and the Commanders were third. Yep. You have to be able to stop the run. So you got to get some big boys up front to be able to do that.
That's fair, but let's take it one side and then the other. Ashton Genty, I host the draft, as you may know, and so I've started doing players. I did him last night. I did Ashton Genty, watched whatever little film I watched and looked at his numbers. That is going to be the hot button topic. Once upon a time, the Cowboys drafted Zeke very, very early, far earlier than they will have to do if they're going to take Ashton Genty this year. That feels like that is going to be one of the moments of the draft if he's on the board to see if the Cowboys.
By the way, if they went Zeke Elliott at 4, 1 year,
Right.
then why would they not go Ashton Genty at number 12 this year?
And I
the
think-
need is greater.
Yeah, and I think especially after you see Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, who get drafted high in the first round, and you see the impact that they've been able to make on their respective teams, especially the Lions, and what they've been able to do winning football games, getting deep into the playoffs with a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. So absolutely, they have to have that running game to get it going.
Mel is going to yell at me if he's watching, but I mean.
What's up, good people and Eagle and Commander fans and 49er fans? Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Joe Boo. What's up, Joe Boo? And the funky chicken. No ass crack tonight from Momo. Momo's been kind of quiet lately. He's been kind of quiet. I know he's feeling kind of sad, kind of blue right now and things. But don't forget about BetUS. BetUS, you can still get that YouTube promo code, YouTube150, and get 150% matching on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000. And if you do crypto, that jumps up to 200%. We still got the big game, Super Bowl, and don't forget, they actually have casino games too. So you can get your blackjack on, your Texas Hold'em, you name it, you can get it on with BetUS. Just bet responsibly. How's everybody doing today? I gotta say, this is kind of crazy because we were sitting right here last week about halfway through our live stream, and then all of a sudden we had breaking news. You guys broke it to me because I was here live and not looking at the waivers and things, and it was announced as a Friday night dump that Brian Schottenheimer, actually, hold on, let's back it up a little bit. First, it was Robert Saleh was still in play for the Dallas Cowboys because he was now canceling his flight to Jacksonville, where he was supposed to have an in-person interview, and the thought was he canceled that because he might want the Cowboys job or to go back to being the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, it was crazy because we had just heard earlier in the day that Pete Carroll could have been in the mix and that there still was a chance for Kellen Moore. It was just like a crazy day. And then all of a sudden, Momo, I'm just saying, you know that you really wanted to be in the Super Bowl. Momo, listen, I wanted you to be in the Super Bowl, bro. And it hurt me that you're not there. So I know your butt hurt, okay? And we know what your butt looks like too, okay? So I'm going to be that guy. It was just crazy because then all of a sudden it was the Cowboys will be signing Brian Schottenheimer, press conference on Monday. Guys, that was only a week ago. Doesn't it feel like the Mike McCarthy situation, him and all of that drama? It's only been 3 weeks, people. It's been 3 weeks that we've been going through this, and it feels like it's been, you know, my daughter told me it's supposed to hit 70 next week. It's like, are we out of winter now? Time is just literally flying by right now, and it's still going to be January. But let me say hello to all the good people. We already talked to Momo here, and we got Holly. Holly Pierce was the first one in the house. What's up, Holly? How are you doing tonight?
Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
We've got Regina Green. We keep running into each other. People don't start talking, girl. What the hell are we listening to? Aren't these the same people hating Dallas last year and the year before and the year before that? Shut the fuck up. Whoa! Regina Green bringing the heat. Unknown Ninja over here on the other channel. Shout out to you guys for being over there. The Joneses have not made me care what they do because everything I do is wrong. Everything they do is wrong, and they're not going to win a championship until the Joneses are 6 feet under. Unfortunately, it's not going to be anytime soon that they're both going to be 6 feet under. So we're going to have to make the best of what we can. I see Jeff Lee in the house looking for boobies. There's Derek Young. There's Paul. Chris Robinson in the house. We got Holly Pierce, of course. Derek Young. Let's see. Did I miss any of the lovely ladies? Jeff Lee still looking for boobies. And Gina Dallas Diva. What's up? Be safe out there driving. Be safe out there driving, Gina. Yum, yum, some. All right, I think I got everybody. We're kind of caught up here. First of all, let me say there was another plane crash in Philadelphia. It was a Learjet medical jet that was, I think, headed for Omaha, Nebraska. I'm assuming that it wasn't good. It's in the neighborhood. Miss Kiana Gibson.
Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
Sending prayers to everybody on there, and it always seems like bad things come in threes. I hope that it doesn't. There's Game Time, Brian. What's up, Game Time? So I sent out a little bit of a panic to people today because I was literally in a state of shock. I was like, ah! I literally could not believe this. Genus Master 43, what's going on? I could not believe the words that were coming out of Stephen Jones's mouth. I will say, and this is where game time, the mailman. I need you to make a delivery here on the Joe Boo Sports Report at some time because we got to talk about this stuff because I know how much you hate Stephen Jones, a.k.a. the Cap Man. I know you can't stand him. I know. Actually, I don't know anybody who actually likes him. Because sometimes I see Stephen Jones, and when I see Stephen Jones, I just literally want to gnaw my eyes out because, he gets in here and he starts talking a bunch of nonsense, and he doesn't look like it doesn't look like we're going to do anything because, I'm just that kind of dude. I am kind of like, if you are worried about things happening too fast, when you're with your lady and everything else, I figure all you got to do is think about me, and that'll definitely slow things down. It'll bring it to a crawl because we don't do nothing. In fact, you might not want to do that because it might just end the whole thing. It might just whoop, and then you're just out. But then again, then you're not wasting anything, and I can't stand to waste anything, if you know what I mean. But Stephen Jones is a bit of a buzzkill. Even, how you doing tonight? Larry, Larry, no real GM, no real wins. Well, I'm going to pose a question. This is what, like I said, I want to talk to my man Game Time Brian too. I feel like we have done some damage. I think the fans doing what they did, seeing the stadium as empty as it was, possibility of losing primetime games, people not showing up for games. I mean, Game Time will tell you how empty. We're sitting there looking at all the towels. I got my towel here. From the Eagles game, right? And I probably could have gotten 100 of them if I just walked the stadium there because there were so many seats that were empty in the stadium. And there were a lot of games that were like that. You can't win just 2 home games and think that people want to pay that kind of money to go there. Oxnard being dead. Yeah, Oxnard was dead. And I've kind of got it made in my mind that I hope that that we go to the Hall of Fame because I can't see myself flying out to Oxnard and spending that kind of money to go with the changes that they made there, where literally you either got to be in the VIP tent or you got to spend $22 just to be on the fence line, or you're sitting up for free in the sun basting your ass. So for 3 or 4 practices in a week, it's not what it used to be. It honestly sucks that they're going to have to do something to win me back. And unfortunately, we get fooled kind of easy. Yeah, we do. I can feel myself at the moment getting a little bit excited about the coaching staff, that maybe they're actually building something that's going to be pretty good, that the players seem to be liking what's going on. Now, we haven't heard from Micah. No, I don't know that, Jamison Taylor. Jamison Taylor, I'm sorry. Jamison Taylor, what did I miss with Jamison Taylor? Your message is retracted. Somebody want to tell me what's going on with Jamison? Jamison Taylor, that had to happen by mistake. Okay, I don't know what happened. Somebody, can let me know. Momo, okay. Be positive. I'm trying to be positive, but I've been positive for 30 years. And this is where, actions speak louder than words. At the moment, you start looking at the coaching staff that they're putting together. Caton Adams, everybody's high on. Okay, now here's the reality. Let me bring us back down to earth a little bit here. Nobody goes through and hires a coach and says, man, this is just ass. We hired this guy. He's going to suck up the place, and we're not expecting a damn thing. Nobody drafts a player and says, we just drafted some ass, man. Everybody's going to go through and tell you, this is great. This is great. And on paper, it looks great. But then the reality of it is sometimes it just doesn't work out. It's not the right fit. You don't have the right players and things. So we don't know until they actually get out on the practice field and actually play in real games if it's good or not. Because it's all collective, everything that they do. I don't think that Mike McCarthy was a bad coach. I don't think he was. But I don't think that he got as much support and that the Cowboys did everything they could to try and make him successful. Dem boys kicks. Chris Robinson, what's going on? Or somebody else blocked me? Okay, Jameson, I can tell you for fact, they may have timed you out, but they did not block you. The reason why I can say that for sure is if you were blocked, you wouldn't be able to comment right now, because the only way, if you actually get blocked, is I have to go back through and go to the community settings and unblock you, and I did not do that. So maybe somebody hits you by accident. Sometimes the chat's flying through there, and you get, one of these cray-cray people, 49er Weiner fans, or, the FJs that are in here, disguised as somebody else, and they're trying to hit them, and it got you by accident. But you definitely weren't blocked. So I'm glad of that, and hopefully everything goes good. There's Roland's review. What's up, Roland? So he's talking on Law Nation's channel. He got blocked on Law Nation's. Okay, I'm gonna say you didn't get blocked here. That I ain't got nothing to do with that one, though. Okay, that one I ain't got nothing to do. Darlene Mosher, Stephen Jones it's kind of Madden. What they've been doing for 30 years hasn't worked. No, it's not Madden. Madden, you would have at least gotten some players. They ain't done that. But have you ever dealt with somebody who's had an addiction or a problem? Until they recognize that they have a problem, until they recognize that that there's a problem, and they hit rock bottom, they don't change. Oh no, we're okay. We're okay. And see, when you had Stephen Jones at the press conference on Monday. This is on Monday. I can't believe it was just Monday. This was only 5 days ago. Well, we have to evaluate, where things didn't go right. And last year, obviously, where it didn't go right, and in terms of this drought that people say we're in terms of not getting in the playoffs deep and in the Super Bowl. It was like, you mother humper, you jackass. You're just going to dismiss us who are upset and give us the air quotes? In terms of this drought that people say we're in. It's not people say, you're in a freaking drought, bro. You are in a class of one. Of 30 years, you are the only team in the NFC. Everybody talking about, it's not talking about, it is a fact, you jackass. Right? So when I saw this morning, when I was listening to Stephen Jones, and when you listen to Stephen Jones, it kind of gets to be annoying. And you literally just want to toss out your Italian sub and things like that. Oh, I got to put the glasses. I need to put the glasses on and adjust them because, when we're here with the Dallas Cowboys and, things didn't exactly go the way we planned. We thought that all of our players would stay healthy, and we figured that our game plan of being all in and doing more with less was actually going to do more with less. So then you got this from the Senior Bowl. Let's go to the tape.
Well, first of all, we think Will's one of the best in the business in terms of, running, helping us, Jerry and I, work through our personnel. And, I think we've consistently, year in and year out, and, I think staffed with the best personnel in the league. And certainly Will has a huge part of that in terms of getting his staff, whether it be the college, the pro, how he goes about it. I think he works hand in hand with whoever the coach is. Obviously, he's worked with several coaches in his day, from the Jason Garrett's to the Mike McCarthy's and now Schottenheimer. But one of the keys is to know what it's all about. What kind of players are we looking for to be Dallas Cowboys? And that's so important to know. Hey, what should the play style be? What kind of traits are you looking for in those players? And I think he does an outstanding job of really, at the end of the day, really coming up, with a consensus of what we should have on our football team. And to get him back and have him signed up long term makes me smile.
He's got 15 Pro Bowlers under his belt in 11 years. What excites you most about his future?
I think the best is yet to come. It's like fine wine or a good wine. It gets better with time, and I think Will's going to be the same way. I think his best is still in front of him, and he's got a great staff. He works great with Jerry and I. He works great with our coaching staff. He works great in the building as a whole. We all know how important culture is, and he's a big part of that. He works great with our executive team on the business side. He just checks every box you want to check, and he's outstanding. And like I said, I think I know he's got 15 Pro Bowlers, but I think his best is yet to come.
Don't toss out your cookies yet.
Sorensen, how big was that, and how excited are you for those guys?
Both those guys are outstanding coaches in this league. Obviously, Eberflus recognized, as one of the best defensive minds in the league, being the head guy at Chicago there for 3+ years. Did an outstanding job for the Bears, and for us to be able to bring him back around after working with Rod, in our building on the defensive side of things. I think Schotty thought it was a great fit, Coach Schottenheimer, and to be able to bring him back and his defensive expertise. I think if you look it up, you're going to see that his defenses are always at the tops in terms of where his defenses rank, whether it's total yards, whether it's points allowed, whether it's turnovers, all the things that are key to winning football games. He checks those boxes, and to be able to get him to be a partner with Coach Schottenheimer, I think is huge for the Dallas Cowboys and our future.
Was it important to find a former head coach?
I think that helps. Of course, Coach Schottenheimer being a first-time head coach, I think that's all the more important. And he's had his bumps, and he knows the pros and the con. All the good that comes with it. And he also knows the challenges, and I think he'll be there for at the end of the day for Coach Schottenheimer, and I think he'll do a great job for him.
He's getting to it. Okay.
Coach Schottenheimer's going to have his hands full with the offense and being a head coach, but
I know it's
I think he's going to be able to sleep well knowing Coach Eberflus is going to be over there, and then Nick Sorensen. He's versatile. We always say you like to pick guys in the draft that are versatile, an offensive lineman that not only can be your starting guard, but he can swing out to tackle.
Stop with the position
flex. Center. That's what Coach Sorensen is. He's been a great special teams coach, but he's also been a great defensive coordinator in this league. He's a coacher of men, and that's the type of people you look for, guys who can lead men, get their play style to where we need to have it. to win championships. He's done that. He's proven. He's played in this league. He'll have much respect in our locker room. And I think he'll bring a lot to the table.
Come on, get to it, Steven.
What he can bring to the Dallas Cowboys.
How did Eberflus detail his vision for the defense, and did you guys kind of think about to be your third defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, Matt sees a defense that's going to play with a lot of energy. People.
Come on.
Can be a tough word, but in our game, that's what it's all about: is play with violence.
Okay, let me.
For our great players, whether
Hold on.
side there, for the third time, but at the end, multiple these days, and I know Matt will do a great job to play fast,
I'm trying
play
to get
violent,
to it.
play with. On that as we speak, certainly. We all know who the master mind is of our offense is going to be. We've made that real clear. It's Coach certainly compliments what he does, and we've certainly had some good interviews there, and at some point we'll get that taken care of as well.
Are there certain elements of an offensive coordinator that you want to check the boxes with, to pair?
I'm sorry to do this to you guys.
I think most of these guys always want
Did I miss it?
great offensive line coach, a great running game.
I apologize.
The ball. Everybody says it. We want to run the ball and we want to stop the run, and certainly that's what we want to do. That's great.
Okay, this is it.
To the run game, we want to be able to run the. Stay in time is to marry that run game to the pass.
Okay, I'm
the
sorry.
run game box. Most of these guys are very, if you will, fluent when it comes to throwing the ball around the yard, but. You always want a great offensive line coach, a great running game coordinator, and of course the key this day and time is to marry that run game to the pass game. Coach Schottenheimer's all over that. He wants to find a guy who's going to be able to marry his philosophies to the run game. We want to be able to run the ball. Everybody says it. We want to run the ball and we want to stop the run, and certainly that's what we want to do. That's what. Great championship football teams do, and I know Coach Schottenheimer wants to do that, and so I think it's real important that we find, in this hire, a coach that's going to be outstanding, in the run game area.
Any other position coaches that are locked in at this point?
Not that we can comment on now. I mean, we're obviously. I don't think Coach Schottenheimer's been to sleep since he's taken the job, but we're all involved in the process, and we want to have great coaches to coach these men. I mean, you want to have guys who lead men, and so these hires are very important. It'll be a great compliment to what Coach Schottenheimer brings to the table, and we think he's going to have a great staff.
I know you haven't rounded out the staff entirely yet, but where do you feel like the alignment is right now between you guys in the front office, Brian's coaching staff, and now?
But in this interview, first of all, I'm going to say that for the first time, I actually was like, okay, that actually sounds like you understand. He even admitted we got to be able to run the football and stop the run. And let me say, shout out to Dwayne Brown. Anticipation of fear is the worst fear itself. Steven is scared now. Philly and Washington have opened his eyes. And you are point blank, because I think the combination of now knowing that we're looking up at the Commanders and the Eagles, both. We've got, if I go and listen to my man Game Time Brian, if I listen to Law Nation, if I listen to Vash Lombardi, if I listen to any Dallas Cowboys YouTuber, they're basically putting the Joneses on blast and telling you how inept they are. And I believe that when we were watching the press conference on Monday, you saw Jerry Jones, who is a billionaire, and it doesn't matter what we think. You got billions. You're not going to go hungry. You're not going to lose your job. So why do you give a rat's ass about what we think? You got everything. You got everything. Contrary to what you're saying, I had to have me this beat up, dirty Bronco, when I bought the Dallas Cowboys, because I couldn't have everything. It's like, dude, we're trying to afford a dozen eggs right now, and you talking about, I can't afford everything. You know what? Jerry, okay, screw you on that. I don't want to hear those stories anymore. But you started listening to him, and he said he was actually making sense. And he's finally been shamed, and I think literally at that press conference where it was, here's Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and Brian Schottenheimer, hey, and Stephen Jones. He had to clap for himself. He literally had to clap for himself. And nobody was clapping for Stephen Jones. Mark, it took y'all and the Eagles and Washington to wake them up. Maybe. Or took the fans not showing up for the games and, literally. If eggs weren't so expensive, they'd be throwing them at the Cowboys. But they're too expensive to throw out. Seriously. And knowing Stephen Jones, he'd be trying to catch him so he can make some omelets out of him because he's that cheap. Now, to address somebody's question about the Cowboys are tanking, I wish I had $1 for every time I heard that the Cowboys are tanking. Tank for Tua. The Cowboys are tanking for Tua. Come on, bro. Tank for Trevor. The Cowboys are tanking for Trevor. Okay. I heard last year the Cowboys, they're tanking for Zador Sanders. Zador. That's the and Dion. We're tanking for both of them. And now we're tanking for Arch Manning. Okay. Let me ask you this, bro. But let's just look at this. You can hypothetically say, okay, they hired a guy off the salad truck, and they're, this is the movie Major League, and we've gone through and we've hired a coach that nobody wanted. We fired a coach that nobody wanted and hired a coach that nobody wanted to be their head coach. But I look at what we did last year. Okay. We had about everything that could go wrong last year. We didn't sign anybody. We lost 9 starters on our roster. We lost Sam Williams before training camp even started. Diggs came back and was never right. Deron Bland didn't play till like week 12. Marshawn Nealon flashed and ended up getting injured and missing most of the season. Overshown flashed, got injured, and never really showed up. We didn't have our starting 3 cornerbacks play together in a game till I think week 12. Our running game was historically bad the first half till they finally figured out we just need to give Rico the ball and just keep Zeke away from it. We literally had a defense that could not force a punt 2 games early in the season. We lost our starting quarterback. Our tight end that we thought was going to be lights out regressed. Our number 2 wide receiver got an infection in his knee and didn't really play till the end of the season. And we still won 7 games with Cooper Rush. So if we had all of those bad things happen, how do you think we're going to lose every single game, basically to be the number 1 pick, to draft a guy who is yet to start a season in college? Seriously. We still won 7 games as putrid of a team and a roster that we put out there. With the magnitude of injuries that literally we had over $100 million on injured reserve of players. So ask me again if we're tanking for Arch Manning. That is a good question, and we'll try and get to our free agents. I think that Cooper Rush may be brought back. I don't see Trey Lance re-signing with the Cowboys. I don't see that. But then again, nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me. And so here's what we got now. There's a couple of things that'll be interesting that now this new coaching staff may make more important. Jesse Harvey, what it do? How are you doing? Alan Williams in the house. Alex, how are you doing? One is enough. Is Rush or Lance staying? I don't think that either of them is staying, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Rush goes around the NFL, doesn't get a job, and the Cowboys re-sign him. Alan Williams, I died hearing it the first time, and now embarrassment, my son with it. Oh my God. The Jacksonville coach. Where'd they get this mother humper, man? This goober. Did y'all see that? I should actually have that as like a little quick play. Dude is up there. Okay, so I guess Jacksonville Stadium's in Duval County, right? And so he's up there, and he's, he kind of looks like, he look kind of like Howdy Doody. Most of y'all don't know who Howdy Doody, but it kind of looks like Howdy Doody. And he's talking about, I don't have it, but he's literally saying Duval. And you're like, what the hell? And they did it. He didn't do it just once. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, okay. Evidently, that's the cry for Jacksonville. Oh, boy. Let me see. I can't seem to find it. I'll find it for you guys later. It was on Pat McAfee's show. He was showing it. He was doing it. But it's Duval. So apparently, this is the signature thing. Oh, boy. This is...
Yeah!
All right, welcome back, everyone.
Everybody, let's do the big fun chant together.
Oh, my
1, 2,
God.
3.
Duval!
And if you've been hearing that, wondering,
Oh,
what's wrong with
Lordy.
the Jaguars? Oh, we found out that's really not true.
Oh, God. It's actually their cheer.
Our chief photojournalist, Nick Marone, has the story.
Oh, my God.
It's the chant heard all throughout Everbank.
I never heard it before.
A call for pride in Jacksonville's team. Fans from young
Can you say Duval?
to old coming together to let everyone know where they are from. But where did that call for pride originate from? The answer to that question is just a short turn away on the radio dial.
It's the all-new V 101.5 throwback hip-hop and R&B afternoon. What's up? It's me, Easy. Now coming.
It all started with DJ
1.5
Eazy-E.
throwback hip-hop. I'm the on-air personality for 93.3 The Beat and V 101.5.
In the late 90s, Eazy-E would hear people in the streets say Duval.
So I would take it and I would just extend the word and make it like long. And lo and behold, this was how it sounded when I first did it. It would sound like this. And that's the drop I've been using for years. I've been using that song, that drop for years.
Yo, what up, Easy? What's up, T-Ro? What's up, man? Yo, man.
This is an example of one of Eazy-E's mix shows.
And each time we have a mix show on the radio, I would hit that drop.
Right,
I would hit that drop. I would hit that drop.
The first time I heard Duval really was on the radio.
Okay. That's not quite as bad as the coach, because the coach is literally like a crazy person. Duval. Oh, my God. Okay. All right. So at least we don't have Duval. At least we don't have Duval. And then I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, this guy is supposed to be a leader of men to get him to want to run into a brick wall. And we're going, Duval. Okay. All right. So If I miss anything important, I will see it here or hear it at the ticket radio station here in Dallas. Appreciate that, Chris. So Stephen Jones is actually talking the talk, recognizing that we need to run the ball better and we need to stop the run. Two things, or a couple of things. One, I think that's going to mean that Terrence Steele has new life here. Because Terrence Steele is actually a decent run blocker. The problem with Terrence Steele is if every down is a passing down, like most of it was this past year, people know. Fish, I remember when he first got started doing work and stuff with him, helping him go and stuff. And Fish is a great guy. But Terrence Steele is a really good run block. He can be like a road grader. And if the emphasis is being more balanced, that's going to make him a better player, which is definitely good news. You got Cooper Beebe, who I think is actually a really good center. You got Tyler Smith, who is great. And you got Brock Hoffman, who seems to be Mr. Nasty. The question will be, is the left tackle? Is Tyler Guyton actually going to be good enough to be a decent left tackle? Or do we need to go in another direction? And this is where I also think that now Genty might be more in play for the Cowboys because their emphasis is going to be running the football. They say that crap all the time, F.K. Jones. Momo, are you showing your ass in here right now? Are you trying to be superior to Dallas Cowboy fans because you made it to the NFC Championship game, something we haven't done for 30 years? Is that what you're doing? Come on, man. Don't show your ass in here. Yeah, Coach looked like Gomer Pyle. Hey, Sarge. But I think running the football, getting back to being able to run the football is going to be huge. The second part of that is if you're trying to stop the run, right now, contrary to what Cowboys think, and Game Time, Brian, if you're still here, blink twice. I want to get Game Time Brian's thoughts about Osa and Digizua. Osa played really good this year, and he is one of the better defensive tackles right now. And if the Cowboys let him go, we're going to have a major hole. Dear Leggy, shout out to Dear Leggy. Welcome, new channel member. Ding, 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 ding. Shout out to Ding Leggy. If you go to the community tab and go in there deep, there is a link in there. Actually, no. Just email me, cowboysmark94@gmail. Cowboysmark94@gmail, so I can send you a shot glass and a stress star, because the Cowboys will make you drink, and you damn sure need to work out some of that stress. Appreciate you becoming a channel member. Do that tonight, and I'll have it in the mail for you tomorrow. Shout out to you. Always love our channel members. The next thing, I believe that Matt Everfuss, he is the three technique guy, is huge, and that's where Osa is going to be huge for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that it will actually be very, very good for Micah Parsons, because Matt Everfuss, he was a linebacker coach here in the early 2010 years, working with DeMarcus Ware, working with Anthony Spencer, working with Sean Lee. And so you're going to see some great linebacker play. Now, Aish, I'm sorry I missed your member chat. How long have you been a member here, Aish? Let's see. I got to go way, way back. I got a lot of stuff that's going on here on the board. Sometimes I miss things. I don't see it there, Aish. Oh, man. Oh, Dear Leggy. Oh, man. Well, I tell you what, Dear Leggy. Here's what I'll do for you, Dear Leggy. Shout out to you for the super chat. If you email me tonight, cowboysmark94@gmail, what I'll do is I'll send you this one. Since you're an Eagle fan, my last chunky soup with Kelsey on it. All right? Since you became a channel member, we appreciate you being here. Good luck to your Eagles team in the Super Bowl. next Sunday. Appreciate you becoming a member. It's probably going to be like Momo, come in here and show his ass and torment me. Aisha Robinson, 48 months. Shout out, 4 years, Aisha Robinson. Still numb for my mom's passing. I know you're going to be for a while there, girl. We're sending prayers to you. But no, seriously, Dear Leggy, I want to get that soup out of here. I got to get it out of here, bro. I got to get out of here. I actually feel like maybe, just maybe, because Stephen Jones in that clip that I was trying to do, but couldn't find the spot. I should have found the spot in there. I apologize. But you can only take so much of Stephen Jones. But in there, he kind of admitted that, we have to. Oh, Law blocked you, I think, Coyote. Oh, well, damn. You mean nothing but the best blocked you? I'm sorry. You're free here. That's all I can say. Mark, if you give me your address, I'll send you Jalen it. And what is it you want me to do with the Jalen Daniels jersey, Momo? What exactly do you want me to do with the Jalen Daniels jersey? What are you trying to be funny? Are you looking for a laugh, Momo? I don't want that shit. Keep that shit. Give it to somebody else that you know is a Washington fan. Because if I get it, I'm going to find somebody who's a Washington fan and give it to it because they ain't staying here. I don't want it. So eliminate the middleman. Save your postage. Take some work off of Game Time Brian. Give it to somebody who needs it. One of you crying-ass Commander fans. Haven't been on there in a bit, but I asked him the next time. Okay, so I'm feeling actually kind of good about where we're kind of going. And the more you hear about players talking about Brian Schottenheimer and their relationship, you feel a little bit better. This is actually really interesting here too, because this is on G-Bag Nation.
Just trying to work these phones about some of these potential hires and stuff like that.
Sorry, I get the wrong one.
And
this is good.
This is the hard part of when you do this,
Brian
because
Brodus knows his shit.
If you say something positive about these guys, you get evidently San Francisco didn't want him anymore. Well, evidently so and so didn't want him anymore. Please just spare me that.
Thank you.
I mean, there's coaches in this league, coaches in all professions, that they get hired, they get fired, and they get hired again.
That is
not
true.
not every. It's not like teams are looking to get rid of guys. Man, maybe the situation with Nick Sorensen, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit because he's going to be your special teams coach. So, he had an opportunity. He's a coach that they really, really liked in San Francisco.
I think
he was a coach that, as probably as the defensive coordinator, he was out over his skis. But as far as the special teams coach and some of the other things, this guy's a pretty good coach. And I think he fits a pattern in talking to some people around the league about him that we're maybe going to see from the hires that Brian Schottenheimer makes here. And it goes back to Schottenheimer talking about how he is with people and how that is a strength of his. And I think listening to people, the couple of different sources I had on Nick Sorensen, he is a guy that is very much that type of guy. Really, really good with people. But also, people were telling me about this guy. He's a really good coach. Now, we'll see. The defensive coordinator thing in San Francisco, injuries, whatever, it didn't work out. They like I said, they wanted to keep him, wanted to put him in another role, but he's going to get an opportunity to go out and be here in Dallas, I believe. But to a man, they were telling me this guy is a really good coach, and he's a really good dude. They really enjoy these guys who were with him, who have been with him before, really enjoyed working with him. He's smart. He's thoughtful. He's into people. Players in the building will really like him, and he will connect with them. So that's kind of where I think that Schottenheimer, when you're starting to talk about.
He's trying to build the most likable staff of all time, starting with himself.
Well, he's trying to build a staff that can relate to the people, that can relate to the players, and Sorensen was a player in the league for a bit. And so, but I think he's trying to get people that when you have to coach, when you're able to. In this day and age, it's not like when I played football where coaches yell and scream at you the whole time. I think you have players in this day and age that don't respond to that well. I think there are guys that like tough coaching, but I also feel like that there's players respond better to guys that are like that more. And I'm not saying coddle, because there's coaches, like I say, you could ask some folks about, with our coach that just left to go to Chicago, the Al Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little too much coddling going on there. Maybe
too player friendly.
Too player friendly. I think there's a point in time.
Interesting take from Brian Brodus on our coaching staff, about him, about not coddling him, but you can see that the players thus far really respect him. And you like to hear this, and when you start thinking about Nick Sorensen, 49er fans are coming at us and saying, take him. He's a bum. He sucks. Well, he was a one-year defensive coordinator. It was his first year. Before that, he had always been a special teams coordinator, okay? There's a big transition from being special teams to taking on the whole defense, and maybe that was just like he had too much. It was more than what he could do. But as far as being a guy that could be a great special teams coach, maybe. Easy there. All Al Harris was producing non-first rounds, all pros. I'm one that I'm not sure that Al Harris was over coddling guys. I think Al Harris was a fantastic coach. Now, Quadre Diggs. Now, see, this is the one that I really like, because we know the offensive guys always work with Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer, is always, as soon as Dak comes off the field, Brian Schottenheimer is sitting right there with them. They're going over the plays and everything else. And so you expect the offensive guys to go through there. But when you listen to Quadre Diggs talking about his relationship with Brian Schottenheimer, even though he's a defensive player, listen.
Schottenheimer, you have a relationship with Schottenheimer from your days in Seattle, certainly, as well as Andre Curtis. Just from a Schottenheimer standpoint, just what are your thoughts on him? How did he interact with the players? Your opinion of him as a Cowboys coach?
I mean, I think Shotty's phenomenal with, building relationships with the players. I'm a defensive guy, and, I had a relationship with Shotty that was pretty cool, and you can go to him, you ask him questions, he's going to give you honest answers. But he's very detail-oriented. Every time he stood up in front of the team, guys respected and loved, what he brought to the table. And you respected it because you felt like you knew that what he said he was going to tell you in those meetings, that's what you was going to get out of him. I think he can command the room. I think he's been there. Those guys know him. They know what they expect. And I think the offense will be in good hands, and with the defense staff they building around, I think Shotty's going to be hands off with that, and kind of let the defensive coordinator do their thing, and kind of just manage that way.
Yeah, Quandre, we talked to some players with the Cowboys too, and obviously Schottenheimer's with the offense here in Dallas as well. But they also said, we loved building a relationship with him and kind of what he brought from that culture standpoint. I'm just curious if you kind of elaborate on how does a defensive or an offensive coach build relationships with defensive guys? Because I think some fans think they're two separate rooms, two separate things. How does Brian Schottenheimer go about kind of doing that?
I mean, I think he just goes out of his way doing walkthroughs and, doing times where, the offense and defense are together and, defense might be up or offense might be up. And he's just going around just talking to guys and letting guys know who he is, you know what I mean? And not necessarily just worried about the offensive guys. He wants guys to respond to him both ways. And I think that's the best way to do it, you know what I mean? And it's kind of my instance here, like with Brian Callahan. He was our quarterback coach in Detroit when I was there. And I had a relationship with Callie before I got here in Tennessee. So I think it's just, the offensive guys knowing that they had to reach out and have a relationship. And, how could you be an offensive coordinator and not have a relationship with Micah Parsons or, with Trayvon Diggs and those type of guys? So
he's got
you got to talk to those guys. You got to be around around those guys. And I think when the defensive guys can feel the offensive coach, it takes a little bit of that tension.
So I just wanted to play that because, see, people go, oh, of course, what else are they going to say about him? Well, typically what they may say is absolutely nothing, and they don't show up to his press conference to be announced as a coach. Now, that is a defensive player from the Seattle Seahawks who is praising him. And shout out to Holly. Oh, my God, Holly Pierce. Girl, you so crazy. She said, roses are red, water is blue as ocean. At least my peach doesn't need lotion at Momo. Damn. Okay. So, this time has been flying by in here. But I wanted to get to something else here, which is, here's our problem. Here's our problem, and it's money, okay? This is the top 10 cap hits that we have for the season, okay? And this is where you got Stephen Jones. He's going to tell you it's going to be real difficult when you're managing the cap, and you got all these guys that you got to pay, and, going into free agency. We're going to look at everything this year, where we've got some places that we need some players, and ultimately you like to fill them with the draft and undrafted free agents from the draft and things. And we'll have to look at free agency as well and see what we can do. So when we look at this, everybody goes through, the talking heads are going to say, oh, my God, Dak Prescott, he's $89 million. And I'm going to say, every year we talk about how much Dak Prescott's number is going to be. This past year we talked about, oh my God, Dak Prescott's going to be a $59 million cap hit, right? $59 million cap hit. His cap hit was what this year? Oh, it was only 41. Okay, I got it. Every year, take the stand, Mark, and I'm telling them what it is. Shout out to Son of John, man. I appreciate the email that you sent me yesterday. And I can't help that there's some channels out there that are just full of straight up haters out there that and I can you have to understand that, like Stephen A. Smith, who has always done what can go wrong and hating Cowboys, he's made millions because of it. So why should we be mad at YouTubers that are doing the same thing? Appreciate the super chat. So Dak is at 89. CD's at 35, and they'll tell you the Cowboys can't do anything because they're playing Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And then you see Micah at $21 million. You see Terrence Steele, who's at $18 million. You see Diggs, that's at $13. And then Zach Martin, who may be retired, his $10.6. Donovan Wilson is $8.6. Malik Hooker is $7.7. DeMarcus Lawrence is $7.4, and he's got no guaranteed money. And then Deron Bland at $5.29. So, you look at that and you say, you can't do shit. Well, there's a couple of things that they can do. When you look at this, we've heard that they might cut Terrence Steele. So, you see the first pink number in here is the amount of money that's dead if you cut them before June 1st. The second number is how much you save after that. So, if we ended up cutting Terrence Steele, we end up having $13 million in dead money. We save $4 million. If we cut Diggs, this is one that's big. If we cut Diggs because he has no guaranteed money, you could actually save $12.7 million on the cap, and it may be an injury settlement. I'm not suggesting that they should, but they could. Zach Martin, unfortunately, his cap number is $10 million, and his dead number is $26 million. Donovan Wilson, you could save $3 million by cutting him, all pre-June 1st. Now, let's take a look at something else. You can make 2 post-June 1st cuts. And if you were to make some guys post-June 1st cuts, Terrence Steele would be one of them. You could save $14 million. Now, I pointed out that I think that Terrence Steele, if you're going to be more run-heavy, is going to be somebody that you want to keep. Diggs, if you make him a post-June 1st, you save yourself $9 million there. You're not really changing much. Zach Martin, you do actually have more voidable years where you could stash some of that money if you wanted to. DeMarcus Lawrence, same thing. You're still with the same dead money. Now, here's where it gets really good. That's a nice little soup thing. What's the email? CowboysMark94@gmail. CowboysMark94@gmail. Dear Leggy, here's the other part of it. Here's where it gets to be real interesting. Because baked in, you see all the numbers here in the green? You know what green means? We're in the money. We're in the money. This is money that you could get by restructuring and using your voidable years. You can get $37 million for Dak. You can get $20 million for CD. You can get $9 million for Terrence Steele. You can get $5 million if you want to say, let's roll the dice to see if we can get Diggs back, that he doesn't have the arthritis, that the graft works and all that stuff. You can restructure him and save 5.8. Donovan Wilson, I think they're actually going to cut. You could say you can restructure him, but you're putting good money after bad. Malik Hooker, they could restructure him. Brandon Cooks doesn't have guaranteed money. I think they're just going to move on from him and maybe make him use his voidable years. So there's ways to get money. And I'll also point out the $24 million here cap number for Micah. I thought it was only 21.8. Somehow they have it at 24. But be that as it may, if you sign him to a long-term deal, you'll get that around about $11 million. So getting Micah Parsons would probably give you the money to bring back Osa and Digazua. So as we sit here and we hear Stephen Jones say things that we like to hear, that we are interested in stopping the run and running the football, that maybe they go through and they plug some of the holes in free agency, that they hold on to a player like Osa and Digazua, like a Rico on there, maybe a Goldston, because they recognize it's hard to get those guys. James Snyder, shout out to you. Good evening, Mark. Today's my mom's birthday, 83 years old. Happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to her. Happy birthday, James. My voice is still shot from the game. But let me give you that email again. Cowboys. There we go. That's the email right there. Appreciate you, dear Leggy. Appreciate that. That's the email. So email me with your address tonight, and we'll get it sent to you. So that's basically what I got for the night. The Cowboys, in the course of 1 week of literally looking like ass for the way they ended up bringing in their coach, in the end, it might not be a bad thing. It might actually work out. But we won't really know until after we get them on the field come September how the team's going to take to it. And it'll also – Geneva. Happy birthday, Geneva. Happy 83rd birthday. You are the same age as my mama. Her birthday is in April, and she'll be 83. It's now going to really depend on the Joneses, what they do as far as free agency and plugging some of these holes. But the team will be better than they were this year if they're just healthier. Let's be real. I know you guys, say Dak is whack, Dak sucks, we're never going to win anything. But every year that he's been healthy through the season, with the exception of one, we've been a playoff team. Didn't say we went deep. But maybe if we go ahead and finally get Stephen Jones, who's been embarrassed. Okay, so Robert, if you'd rather watch paint dry than any Cowgirl game, then why are you here watching a Dallas Cowboy YouTube channel talking about the Dallas Cowboys? Hey, Robert, you know what I got for you, bro?
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck ups to shut. And so, Robert, can you do it, Robert?
Can you get out there and lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl, jackass? I bet you can't. I bet you can't put 2 feet in front of each other, tripping your ass all over the place. Hey, Robert, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. All right, I ain't got time to waste. Oh, you gave me a little story. Okay, I can't wait to hear the story. Okay, at least you just gave me a story. Momo gave us a shot at his crack. Okay, so it's got to be better than that. There's Dirty Sanchez and Chris Robinson. What's up, Dallas Goddard? All right. Somebody with a mod, time him out. Cowboys for life, brother. One way and no way out. You're right. It's like going to a casino. You can find your way into the casino, but damn if you can't. Where's the exit? How the fuck do I get out of here? You ain't getting out of it until you lost all your money. So, as always, good people, I appreciate everybody who comes in here and hangs out with me. I feel so blessed to have you guys. You guys are a distraction to the craziness that is the world these days. And everybody who lost their lives in the plane crash in Washington and in the plane crash in Philadelphia tonight, sending prayers all their ways. And don't forget about Aisha Robinson, who lost her mother last week. This is why you got to make the most of the time you have. And I hope all of you guys do that. Stop wasting time on mindless minutia. Life's too short and too precious. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And God willing, we'll all see you tomorrow. And remember, take it easy.
I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And I've eaten it hunting. I've actually had it served by my mom at the table away from hunting. And I have eaten raccoon. And yes, it's not uncommon at all. I'll tell you something that is one of my favorites is squirrel. And it's wonderful, and my mother could do a great job of it. And we all had our favorite pieces, and my dad and sister, I have one sibling, a sister, and they would fight over, not fight, but my mom and I, they were just, my sister and I as far as siblings, my mom and I wouldn't even ask for the brain in a squirrel.
Oh, man.
And delicious, seriously.